Welcome to Mindful Glow. Today, we will explore a very familiar yet challenging topic in modern life: how to focus better and study more effectively in a short amount of time. In the fast-paced world we live in, the pressures of studying and working continue to grow, leaving many of us feeling overwhelmed, directionless, and even unmotivated. Have you ever tried to sit down and study, only to find yourself distracted within minutes by wandering thoughts or constant notifications from your phone? If so, you're in the right place. Imagine yourself in the position of a young boy we're about to introduce. He faced seemingly insurmountable obstacles, mocked by classmates, doubted by teachers, and disappointed parents. He struggled with self-doubt and insecurity every day. Yet, what helped him turn his life around and achieve a remarkable transformation? The answer lies in the guidance of a meditation master, whose valuable advice not only improved his focus, but changed how he viewed himself. We often forget that success and focus in learning are not solely dependent on natural intelligence or how much information you can cram into your brain. It depends on how you control your mind, build discipline, and remain present in each moment of life. At Mindful Glow, we will explore the profound lessons from this young boy's story and apply them to mastering our minds, becoming the best versions of ourselves. What would happen if we learned how to control our minds and not let external distractions steal our focus? What would it feel like to sit down to study and absorb every word seamlessly and naturally? The secret has been discovered thousands of years ago and is embodied in Buddhist meditation philosophy, principles you can apply in your daily life. Join Mindful Glow as we delve into this story to uncover secrets that will not only help you study more effectively but also master your mind, becoming more focused on every moment of life. This journey will not only change the way you learn, but also help you find inner peace, focus, and the confidence to overcome any challenge. If you're ready to transform how you approach studying and focus, let's get started. The story begins in a small town in the United States, where a boy named Alex lived with his family. Alex was a quiet child, often mocked by his classmates due to poor academic performance. Day by day, attending school was a challenge for him. He would enter the classroom with a heavy heart, knowing he would be teased by his peers and met with disappointment from his teachers. "That boy will never learn anything," they would whisper as he walked down the hallway. In class, Alex always sat at the back, eyes glued to his books, but with a mind completely empty. Weekly tests were a nightmare for him. Alex often received low scores, marked in red ink that seemed to drown him in failure. His teachers had long given up hope, and his classmates never stopped taunting him. "Why am I so useless?" This question echoed in his mind repeatedly. Even at home, the pressure was unrelenting. His parents, although loving, could not hide their disappointment. "You have to do better," his mother would say, her worried eyes betraying her concern. In the evenings, Alex would sit at his desk, trying to overcome his fear and frustration. But every attempt to focus was disrupted by his buzzing phone or negative thoughts flooding in. He could find no joy in learning. His mind felt like a chaotic box, impossible to calm. One afternoon, while sitting on a bench in a park near his house, Alex's best friend, Mark, sat down beside him. "Alex, I know you've been trying hard," Mark said sympathetically, "but there's a meditation master staying at the nearby temple. He's very wise and has helped many people. I think you should meet him." Alex listened quietly, feeling skeptical but also a flicker of hope. Could this really help me? He wondered. Yet, a tiny spark of hope emerged within him. The next morning, the temple atop the hill was bathed in sunlight, a serene and peaceful space, as if the troubles of the outside world vanished there. With trembling legs from the climb, Alex stepped into the temple's meditation hall. The scent of incense filled the air, easing his mind somewhat. Before him stood the meditation master, calm and kind, with a deep and understanding gaze that seemed to see right through him. Alex bowed and sat down in front of the master. The meditation master opened his eyes, gazing at Alex with a compassionate, soothing expression. "Tell me, what brings you here?" he asked, his deep voice full of genuine concern that Alex had never experienced before. Emotion welled up in Alex. He recounted his lonely school days, the helplessness of falling behind his peers, and the pain of seeing disappointment in his parents' eyes. Words poured out, unrestrained. This was the first time he had opened up without fear of judgment. The meditation master listened in silence, without interruption or any sign of disappointment. When Alex finished, the master smiled, a warm, understanding smile. "You are not alone in feeling this way," he said. "Many people in life have felt lost, just as you do. But the difference is that you are willing to seek change. And that is a significant first step." Alex reflected on these words. He had never considered that facing his fears was commendable. He had always seen himself as a failure. But now he began to realize that simply sitting there and listening was a powerful start. Before you can go further, you must understand that our minds are incredibly powerful. The master continued, "We become what we believe we are. If you think you are worthless, you will be trapped in that cycle. But if you dare to believe you can change, anything is possible." Alex looked at the master, his eyes filled with hope but also doubt. "But how can I change?" he asked. "I've tried so many times, but I always fail." "Change doesn't happen in a day," the master replied calmly. "It is a process, and you must start with the smallest steps, controlling your breath, your mind, and your daily habits." The master guided Alex to sit comfortably and close his eyes. "We will begin with a simple but crucial exercise," he said. "Focus on your breath. Feel it enter through your nose, filling your lungs. Then exhale slowly. All you need to do is keep your mind in the present moment, without worrying about the past or dreaming about the future." At first, Alex struggled. His mind was flooded with chaotic thoughts, his poor grades, the mocking of his classmates, and the helplessness he felt while studying. But the master patiently guided him, reminding him whenever his mind wandered, "Just return to your breath. Just come back to the present." Over time, Alex felt a small change. His mind no longer drifted as far. Though brief, he experienced a calmness he had long craved. The master smiled as Alex opened his eyes. "Continue like this every day," he said. "Focus is not innate. It is a skill that can be developed." The first session ended, but Alex couldn't forget the master's words and the special experience. Before he left, the master advised, "Do not imprison yourself within the judgments of others. Learn to understand yourself, master your mind, and slowly, you will see everything change." Alex left the temple, deep in thought but with a small flame of hope burning within him. The road ahead would undoubtedly be challenging, but he had found a guide and a method to move forward. It was the beginning of a journey to self-discovery and mastering his mind, a journey that could change his life forever. 1. Self-worth and positive thinking. One day, the meditation master led Alex to a small garden within the temple. There was a small pond with crystal-clear water reflecting the sunlight. The master asked Alex to sit by the pond and look at his reflection in the water. "What do you see?" the master gently asked. Alex remained silent for a long time. All he saw was a boy with sad eyes, disheveled hair, and a weary face. "I see a failure," he replied, his voice trembling. He spoke about his repeated efforts to study that led nowhere, the constant criticism he faced from peers, teachers, and even his parents. The sense of helplessness had made him believe he was not good enough, that he was a burden. The master listened quietly, without scolding or judgment, merely nodding. "What you see reflected in the water mirrors the thoughts within your mind," he said kindly. "You've allowed the judgments of others to become your reality. When you believe you are inadequate, you become inadequate." Alex bowed his head. The words struck deep. "But how can I think differently when everything seems to prove I'm a failure?" he asked, his voice soft, filled with pain. The master stepped closer, placing a hand on Alex's shoulder. "Do you know that our minds are more powerful than we realize?" he asked. "They can be our best friend or our worst enemy. If you let negative thoughts control you, they will drag you down into despair. But if you learn to change your thoughts, everything can change." The master picked up a small pebble and dropped it into the water. The calm surface rippled, distorting Alex's reflection. "This is how negative thoughts affect you," he said. "But when you learn to keep your mind calm, like still water, You will see yourself clearly. You are not the words of others. You are not your past failures. You have the power to decide who you are. Alex felt the words penetrate his heart. He realized that for so long, he had allowed others' judgments to define his worth. He believed he couldn't change, and it became true. But for the first time, he felt he could alter that reality. How can I do that? Alex asked, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. How can I believe in myself when I'm so used to thinking of myself as a failure? By starting with small thoughts, the master replied. Be compassionate with yourself, just as you are with others. Each time you feel inadequate, stop. Don't scold yourself, but remind yourself that no one is perfect. We all stumble, but what matters is whether you choose to rise and keep moving. The master shared a story with Alex. Long ago, a skilled warrior suffered a crushing defeat in a crucial battle. He returned home burdened by shame and humiliation, determined to abandon his path as a warrior because he could not endure the judgment of others. But one day, a wise teacher approached him and said, "You alone decide whether to stand up or fall. If you let this failure define you, you will live in darkness forever. But if you treat it as a lesson and start anew, you can become stronger." The warrior heeded the advice, trained daily, learned from his failures, and refused to let them consume him. In time, he returned and triumphed gloriously, not just in battle, but within himself. Like that warrior, the master said, you may fail, but you are not a failure. Alex was deeply moved. The story and the master's teachings ignited a new flame within him. From that day on, whenever negative thoughts arose, he paused, refusing to let them control him. He learned to see himself, acknowledge his mistakes, but not let them obscure his value. Alex began to believe he could be better, that he didn't have to live forever in the shadow of disappointment. Belief does not come instantly, the master reminded him. It is like planting a seed. You must nurture it, be patient, and trust it will grow. Every day, practice positive thoughts, view yourself with compassion, and trust you can change. When you believe in yourself, you're already halfway there. Day by day, Alex felt the change. He was no longer easily crushed by others' words. He did not let minor failures drown him in self-doubt. Each small step led to a larger journey of transformation. He realized that his worth was not determined by achievements or others' judgments, but by how he viewed and loved himself. 2. Meditation to enhance focus. One early morning, Alex returned to the temple as usual. The air was cool, with mist gently covering the surroundings, creating a sense of calm and freshness. The meditation master awaited him in the meditation hall, where soft light filtered through the old wooden shutters. Today, I will teach you how to calm your mind, he said, his gaze serene and peaceful. Meditation is the key to training your focus and mastering your mind. Alex followed the instructions, sitting cross-legged with a straight back. Close your eyes, the master said. Now, focus on your breath. Feel the air entering through your nose, filling your lungs, and gently exhaling. Don't try to control your breath. Just be aware of it. At first, Alex felt at ease, but within minutes, his mind began to wander. Thoughts of schoolwork, the taunts of classmates, and the disappointment in his parents' eyes kept appearing, pulling him away from the present. Do you notice anything? The master asked when he saw Alex open his eyes, looking confused. Your mind is like a monkey, jumping from branch to branch. It is restless and hard to control. This is completely normal. Many believe meditation is about emptying the mind, but it is actually a journey to recognize and guide your thoughts. Those words comforted Alex. He had always thought he couldn't meditate because he couldn't keep his mind still, but now he understood that a wandering mind wasn't failure, but a natural part of the process. So how do I focus? Alex asked. By returning to your breath whenever you realize you are distracted, the master explained. Every time you notice you've drifted and gently bring your attention back to your breath, that is a small victory. And over time, these small victories help you master your mind. Alex tried again. He closed his eyes, inhaled, exhaled, and focused on the sensation of air passing through his nose. Within minutes, thoughts intruded once more. He remembered the upcoming test and felt the weight of pressure. But this time, he quietly acknowledged his distraction. Instead of scolding himself, he repeated in his mind, "It's okay." Return to the breath. He inhaled deeply, exhaled, and felt each breath. And so, step by step, he continued practicing. Day by day, Alex's moments of calm grew longer. He began to notice a remarkable change. His mind was not as restless as before. While he still experienced distractions, he no longer felt defeated when they occurred. Meditation is not about having no thoughts, the master reminded. It is a journey to recognize thoughts and choose how to guide your mind. One day, after a meditation session, the master shared a story. There was once an old woodcutter who worked tirelessly chopping wood to earn a living. One day, a wise teacher told him that if he took the time to sharpen his axe, he would chop wood faster and with less exhaustion. At first, the woodcutter thought it was a waste of time, but after following the advice, he realized that with a sharper axe, his work became much easier. Meditation is how you sharpen your mind, the master explained. When your mind is focused and sharp, you can accomplish tasks more effectively with less stress. The words made Alex understand the true value of meditation. It wasn't just a way to calm the mind. It was a tool to enhance focus and mastery over every aspect of life. He began incorporating meditation into everyday moments, while doing homework, sitting in class, even during times of anxiety. He focused on his breath, kept his mind from straying, and gradually, he noticed he was less swayed by stress or worry. One afternoon, feeling overwhelmed by an upcoming test, Alex sat down, closed his eyes, and breathed. Within minutes, his mind felt calmer. When he opened his eyes, the world around him seemed less burdensome. Thanks to meditation, he had learned to master his mind, refusing to be swept away by negative thoughts and helplessness. Meditation isn't a miracle, the master said. It is a practice of persistence and patience. When you return to your breath and master your mind, you will find focus and inner strength. This is how you face every challenge in life. With each passing day, Alex continued his journey. He no longer feared wandering thoughts, but saw them as a natural part of the process. Each return to his breath felt like a step forward on his path to mastering his mind and life. 3. Discipline and habits. One early morning, when Alex arrived at the temple, the meditation master was waiting for him in a small garden. He invited Alex to sit next to a tall bamboo tree. The bamboo stood tall and strong, its trunk reaching high into the sky. Pointing at the tree, the master asked, "Do you know why the bamboo is so strong and tall?" Alex thought for a moment, then shook his head. "I don't know," he replied. "Bamboo does not grow quickly in a single day," the master explained. "In its early years, it grows very slowly. People may think it isn't growing at all, but in reality, it is using that time to develop a deep and extensive root system underground, preparing for its later growth. When it is ready, it grows quickly and becomes stronger than many other plants." The master turned to Alex. "Humans are the same. If you want to change and grow, you must first build a solid foundation within yourself. That foundation is discipline and habits." The importance of discipline and habits. The master continued. Many people see discipline as a form of restraint, as forcing oneself into a rigid framework. But in truth, discipline is the key to freedom. When you maintain a consistent habit and persevere, you won't be easily swayed by your mind. You can master your time and focus on what truly matters. Alex listened intently, feeling a spark of understanding. He had tried studying every day in the past, but his lack of discipline made it easy for him to give up when faced with difficulties. He realized that to change, he needed to establish new habits and a clear daily schedule. Starting small, the master did not demand that Alex transform his entire life overnight. Instead, he advised him to start with small but meaningful changes. Every morning, wake up a bit earlier. Take a few minutes to meditate and plan your day. Create a study schedule and stick to it diligently. Don't try to do too many things at once. Focus on one task at a time. Alex began building a routine. Each morning, he woke up earlier, spent 10 minutes meditating to clear his mind, and awaken his awareness. Then, he wrote down his tasks for the day and set aside specific time for studying. Initially, it was challenging because his mind still wandered. But whenever he felt like giving up, the master's words echoed in his mind. Every great achievement begins with small steps taken consistently and patiently. The benefits of consistent habits. Over time, Alex noticed that maintaining a daily routine not only improved his focus, but also gave him a sense of control over his life. When he sat down to study at the same time each day, his mind seemed prepared to work. Studying was no longer a burden. It became a familiar part of his day. One day, the master shared a story about a famous musician. The musician said he didn't practice every day to be better than others. He practiced to ensure he didn't fall behind himself from the day before. When you build consistent habits, you don't just improve, you stay on the right path. Time management and personal discipline. Personal discipline is not just about creating a schedule. It's about controlling oneself in the face of temptations and distractions. The master advised Alex to distance himself from distractions like his mobile phone or social media during study time. You need space and time to focus on what you're doing. If not, your mind will be pulled in every direction. Alex decided to follow this advice. He put his phone on silent mode and kept it out of reach whenever he sat down to study. Whenever he felt distracted, he paused, took a few deep breaths, and then returned to his work. This practice gradually helped him gain mastery over his mind and improved his productivity. Discipline is not restriction, it is freedom. The master reminded Alex that discipline should not be so strict that it takes away joy. Discipline doesn't mean forcing yourself to do things rigidly. It is a tool to channel your energy meaningfully. When Alex understood this, he no longer viewed his routines as burdens, but as ways to take charge of his life. With each passing day, Alex could see how far he had come. The small habits he cultivated prevented him from being easily distracted. Each time he completed a daily goal, he felt a sense of accomplishment. You may stumble, the master said, but what matters is whether you are willing to get back up and keep going. Habits are the accumulation of small actions. The master advised Alex that he didn't need to make huge changes all at once. Start with small things you can control. Over time, these small changes will add up. He compared daily habits to small drops of water that, over time, can wear down even the largest stone. Remember, the master said, every habit you build isn't just to achieve immediate goals, but to create a sustainable way of living that helps you grow. Alex realized that as long as he maintained discipline and consistent habits, he could overcome any challenge, no matter how difficult. 4. Focus in the classroom. One late afternoon, as the sun began to set and the sky was painted with shades of orange and gold, the master led Alex to a simple room in the temple. The room contained only a table and a small mat. On the table was a lit candle, its dim light flickering with each passing breeze. The master gently instructed Alex to sit across from the flame. Focus on this flame, he said. Notice every detail, how it moves, the light it emits, the warmth it radiates. Let all your attention rest on the flame and nothing else. At first, Alex found it strange and somewhat difficult. His eyes were easily distracted by sounds outside, and his mind wandered with scattered thoughts. But the master encouraged him, just come back. Each time your mind strays, gently bring it back to the flame. Over time, Alex began to notice a difference. He could hold his gaze on the flame longer, and in those moments, his mind felt calmer. When you focused on the flame, what happened? The master asked. I wasn't as distracted anymore, Alex replied. It felt like everything else faded away. That is the power of focus, the master smiled. In the classroom, if you can focus on the lesson as you did with the flame, everything you learn will become clearer and easier to remember. You won't need to spend hours studying at home if you are truly present and listening in class. The value of focus. The master told Alex a story about a skilled carpenter. Whenever he worked, he focused intently on every detail, from how he placed the saw, to the angle of each cut, to every fine carving. No one could disturb him during this time. Thanks to this absolute focus, his work achieved perfection, requiring little to no corrections. Learning is the same, the master said. When you are fully present in each moment, you not only remember better but also appreciate the value of what you are learning. Practicing focus in class. Alex decided to apply the master's teachings in his daily life. When he entered the classroom, he reminded himself that this was his only time to truly understand and absorb the material. He put his phone away, focused on his teacher, and tried not to let his mind wander. When the teacher spoke, Alex took careful notes, not just to remember, but to stay focused. Whenever he didn't understand something, he raised his hand to ask questions, instead of waiting until the end of class. At first, he felt shy, fearing judgment, but he recalled the master's words, "You cannot learn if your mind is not present." Questions fill the gaps in your understanding. Tips for maintaining focus. The master gave Alex simple techniques to maintain focus. Break study time into smaller segments. You don't need to study for hours non-stop, he said. Focus intensely for 20 to 30 minutes. Then take a short break before resuming. This keeps your mind from becoming too tired and helps maintain attention. Practice mindfulness. Before each study session, Alex took a few minutes to meditate and regulate his breathing. This helped him stay calm and ready to absorb knowledge. Focus on one task at a time. During study sessions, Alex avoided distractions and set clear goals. He dedicated himself fully to each task. The benefits of focused learning. When Alex applied focus in class, he found he needed less time to review at home. The knowledge he absorbed became clearer and stayed with him longer. He felt he was making progress, not just academically, but in life as well. The master explained that focus doesn't just improve learning. It makes life more fulfilling. When you eat, focus on the meal. When you talk, listen with your heart. Whatever you do, let your mind be fully there. That is how you live fully and meaningfully. Focus is an art of living. One day, while Alex was deeply focused on a lesson, a classmate asked him, "You seem different lately. You're much more focused." Alex smiled, recalling the master's teachings. "I'm just trying to be present in whatever I'm doing," he replied. And honestly, it makes everything easier. Focus transformed how Alex approached learning in life. He realized that when the mind is truly present, everything becomes clearer and more meaningful. Focus isn't just a tool for learning, it's an art of living, allowing people to experience every moment deeply and fully. 5. Physical and mental health. One morning, as the gentle rays of sunlight streamed through the trees, Alex met the meditation master in the temple's small garden. The fresh air and soft breeze made Alex feel more invigorated than ever. Smiling, the master invited Alex to sit beside him. "You know, physical and mental health are two sides of the same coin," he said. "They cannot be separated. If one is weak, it is difficult to control your mind and your life." Alex pondered these words. He realized that on days when he felt physically tired, his mind struggled to focus on studying. Sleepless nights made everything chaotic, drawing him into negative thoughts. The master was right. Body and mind are closely interconnected. Physical health, a foundation for a clear mind. The master began by explaining that the body is the temple for the mind. When your body is unwell, your mind becomes unsettled, he said. Taking care of your body involves not just eating well, but also resting and exercising properly. Balanced diet. The master advised Alex to pay attention to his daily diet. The food you consume greatly affects your energy and ability to focus, he explained. Avoid overly sweet, fatty, or heavily processed foods. Instead, eat plenty of green vegetables, fresh fruits, nuts, and natural foods. He emphasized having a nutritious breakfast to start the day with energy. A clear mind begins with a well-nourished body, he stressed. Daily exercise. You don't have to train like an athlete, the master said with a smile. Just dedicate 20 to 30 minutes a day to moving your body. It could be walking, doing yoga, or simply stretching and breathing deeply. He pointed to the tall bamboo in the garden. Do you see the bamboo? Each day it faces wind and storms. If it isn't strong, it would fall. Your body, too, needs to be trained to face challenges. Alex followed this advice. Each morning, he spent time walking around his home, feeling the movement of his body and his breath. This not only made him feel healthier, but also established a routine to start each day positively and alert. Sleep, the miracle medicine for the mind. Sleep is a gift often taken for granted, the master said. He explained that quality sleep is essential for physical and mental recovery. When you lack sleep, your mind becomes clouded, irritable, and unfocused. He advised Alex to maintain a consistent sleep and wake schedule. Before bed, Alex should avoid strong light from screens and take a few minutes to meditate or practice deep breathing. Alex noticed that when he slept well, he not only felt more alert, but also faced daily challenges with a more positive attitude. Sleepless nights no longer haunted him. Mental health, mastering the mind. The master emphasized that mental health is just as important as physical health. A stressed mind cannot focus, he said. You need to learn how to calm your mind. Practicing mindfulness. The master taught Alex how to practice mindfulness daily. Mindfulness is the ability to live in the present, feeling each breath and every step. Whatever you do, focus entirely on it without letting your mind drift. Alex began practicing mindfulness while eating, walking, and studying. This helped him reduce stress and concentrate better. Relieving stress. When you feel overwhelmed, take a break, the master said. Breathe deeply, go for a walk, or do something you enjoy to refresh your mind. Alex realized that even a few minutes of rest could help him regain his energy and study more effectively. Using meditation to balance emotions. The master encouraged Alex to meditate whenever he felt anxious or confused. Meditation not only helps you master your mind, but also allows you to face difficult emotions more gently. Combining physical and mental health for sustainable growth. As Alex consistently applied this advice, he felt a noticeable change. His body became stronger and less fatigued. His mind grew clearer, less prone to distractions and worries. Do you see? The master said. When your body and mind are in harmony, you can face any challenge with ease. Alex realized that self-care was not a luxury but a foundation for growth. You cannot climb a mountain with a weak body and a tired mind, the master reminded him. But when you care for both, you will have the strength to go further than you ever imagined. Day by day, Alex learned not only to love and care for himself, but also to cherish each moment of life. He understood that focus and success stemmed not just from willpower, but from nurturing and protecting his body and mind. This was a journey of balance and mastery, making him stronger from within. 6. Minimizing distractions and effective study methods. One day, Alex approached the master with a tense expression. I've tried to study, he said, but every time I start, my phone rings, or noise around me makes it impossible to concentrate. I feel like I'm being pulled in every direction. The master smiled and led Alex to a quiet corner of the temple. There, a small table held a porcelain bowl filled with water. Stir the water in this bowl vigorously, he said. Alex did, and the water became turbulent, with ripples spreading everywhere. Now, let it become still, the master continued. Alex stopped stirring and watched as the ripples gradually faded, leaving the water calm and clear. When your mind is disturbed by distractions, like this water, you cannot see clearly. But when you learn to calm your mind, focus appears, identifying and reducing distractions. The master explained that for effective studying, Alex needed to identify and eliminate the distractions around him. Phones and technology. Phones are the enemy of focus if you don't control them, he said. Turn off notifications or keep your phone on silent and out of reach while studying. Don't let it dominate your mind. At first, Alex found it difficult to be without his phone, but he noticed that each time he did so, he focused better and finished tasks more quickly. Choosing the right study space. The master advised Alex to find a quiet and comfortable place to study. If you study in a noisy or uncomfortable place, your mind will be easily distracted. Alex set up a small corner in his room for studying, keeping it tidy and used solely for that purpose. Setting a study schedule. You need to know when your mind is at its peak focus, the master reminded. It might be early morning or late at night. Choose the time when you can concentrate best and stick to that schedule. Alex found that having a consistent schedule made it easier to maintain focus and develop effective study habits. Effective study methods. Reducing distractions is only part of it, the master said. You also need the right study methods to maintain focus and absorb information effectively. Pomodoro technique. The master introduced Alex to the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes of intense focus followed by a 5-minute break. When you work at this pace, your mind doesn't become overwhelmed but stays alert. Alex tried it and found that each break helped refresh his mind and increased his productivity without feeling exhausted. Breaking tasks into smaller pieces. Don't try to do everything at once, the master reminded. Break your work into smaller, manageable parts. Completing each piece gives you the motivation to keep going. Alex began dividing his tasks and study goals into smaller steps. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, he focused on completing one step at a time and found himself making progress. Effective note-taking. When taking notes, focus on key points and main ideas, the master advised. This not only helps you remember, but also forces you to listen and concentrate more. Alex began selective note-taking, summarizing and reflecting on what he learned rather than simply copying word for word. Using visuals and associations, the master shared that people often remember better when linking information with images or stories. Imagine each piece of knowledge as part of a larger story. When you create connections, remembering becomes easier. Alex tried this method and found studying more engaging and easier to understand. Resting and refreshing the mind. When you feel tired, don't force yourself to keep going, the master said. Your mind is like a lamp. If it burns continuously, it will dim. But when you rest and refresh it, the flame burns brighter. Breathing and short meditation. Before each study session or when feeling tired, Alex spent a few minutes focusing on his breath. This helped him regain alertness and focus. Light exercise, stretching, or taking a short walk also helped renew his energy and maintain focus when returning to his studies. Creating a dedicated study space. The master advised Alex to create a dedicated study space that was not used for resting. When you sit down to study, let your mind understand that this is time to work. If you often study on your bed, your mind will mix studying with rest. Alex rearranged his study space. He placed a small desk by the window, kept it tidy, and avoided distractions. Whenever he sat there, his mind naturally shifted into focus mode. The master's teachings were not only helpful for Alex, but applicable to all of us in a modern world full of technological distractions and daily pressures. By minimizing distractions and choosing suitable study methods, we can achieve greater focus and productivity, not only in studying but in all areas of life. Remember, the master advised, your mind is your greatest resource. When you master it, nothing can stand in your way. Alex no longer felt overwhelmed by surrounding distractions. He learned to create his own space and time and, step by step, made progress. Distractions were no longer his enemy. They became lessons to strengthen his focus and self-mastery. Alex's journey did not end with the lessons from the meditation master. It was just the beginning. Knowledge and teachings only become meaningful when they are put into practice. The master reminded Alex, knowledge without action is like a lamp covered in dust. It may shine, but no one can see it. Alex's journey was not an extraordinary or unattainable one. It is a journey that each of us can embark upon. We often think of change as something too big and daunting. It makes many of us hesitate before we even start. But the truth is, no one can transform everything in a single day. Small steps are the beginning of every great journey, starting with the simplest things. There is no need to create a complicated plan or change your entire lifestyle in one day. Start with simple things. Wake up 10 minutes earlier each morning. Spend a few minutes breathing deeply and listening to yourself. Whatever you do, give it your full attention. These small, seemingly insignificant actions will, over time, create changes you never imagined. Consistently maintain positive habits. Change does not come from temporary efforts, but from consistent daily habits. At first, you may face difficulties. There may be days when you want to give up, but the important thing is not to stop. Remember, no one is perfect, and failure is part of the journey. What matters is standing up after each fall and continuing forward, even if it's just a small step. Forgive yourself. On the path to change, there will be times when you feel inadequate or fail to meet your own expectations. Don't be too hard on yourself. Learn to forgive yourself and understand that mistakes are opportunities to learn and grow. Each time you forgive yourself and move forward, you are building inner strength that makes you stronger. Eliminate distractions and create your own space. Life today is full of distractions. Phones, social media, or worries in your mind can pull you away from your goals. Create a space where you can focus entirely on what you want to do. Put down your phone, find a quiet place, and take the time to listen to yourself. These moments will help you renew your energy and stay focused on your journey. Seek support from those around you. Sometimes, the process of change and moving forward can feel lonely, but you don't have to go it alone. Seek support from family, friends, or others with similar goals. Encouragement, shared experiences, and progressing together can be a powerful motivation to overcome the toughest times. Recognize the value of the journey. Remember that while the destination is important, it is the journey that makes the difference. Every step you take, every effort you make, every day you stay committed to your goals is valuable. Don't rush to achieve results. Savor every moment of your journey. The process of change is an opportunity to better understand yourself. Practice mindfulness daily. Don't let yourself be swept away by past worries or future pressures. Live in the present. When you eat, savor the flavors. When you walk, feel each step. When you study, give it your full attention. Living mindfully will help you realize that every moment is precious and an opportunity for growth. Life is a long journey filled with ups and downs. There will be times when you feel tired, times when you think you can't go on. But remember, every journey begins with a single step. Just by taking that brave step forward, you have already overcome yourself. Start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because it will never come. Every small step you take has meaning and will lead to great change. Trust yourself, persevere, and know that you are fully capable of achieving it. Mindful Glow will always be here to support you on this journey. The journey of change begins with the courage to take the first step. As long as you don't give up, nothing is impossible. Thank you for joining Mindful Glow on this journey of discovering peace and self-growth. If you found this content helpful and inspiring, please hit like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Together, we will continue to walk the path of mindfulness, cultivate focus, and uncover the true values of life. Let Mindful Glow be your guiding light when you need it most. Don't forget to click the bell icon to receive notifications for new videos. Wishing you a day filled with peace and meaning.